Bet on Bears fans, another edition of the Chicago Bears podcast coming your way. Pat the Designer, Jason McKee here for a Saturday edition of the Chicago Bears podcast. We working on a weekend, dog.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Flag on the play.
Flag
on the number stop. No, it was
that was the thing. That was the theme of practice today. We definitely got to talk about the flags on the play.
Yeah.
Also, got an interview with Khari Blasingame.
Yeah.
Phenomenal interview. Really good time. So you guys get to see that in the second half of the episode, and got some good insight from him as well, man. So
yeah,
all that and more in today's episode of the Chicago Bears podcast. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. J-Mac, second day in pads. What's your takeaway from today?
The main thing, I think the intensity, it was still there.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously the first day in pads, the intensity should be there. You should be excited. Few butterflies to finally hit after you haven't had, any type of contact practices throughout the offseason. So the first day, the intensity and the juice and the energy should be there, but that level of intensity did not lack today. It was still at a high level, intense level. Did we see a lot of flags? Yes. Did we see a lot of pre-snap penalties and mistakes, stuff like that? Yes, we did. But the intensity stayed at a high level, and I was encouraged by that.
Yeah, there is a want to get better from this team. We really could tell that by talking to Khari and things like that. But I think what we saw today, outside of the pre-snap penalties, was a defense that just has set their tone, and they're not moving off of that speed at all. It doesn't matter. There's a rookie quarterback out there, and I like that we're seeing that. I like that it's not the like we always would hear the reports of like I don't know about reports. We heard it from Lance that basically the offense at times would be like, man, let the ball go through. We're not seeing that. There's no let the ball go through. It's like, hey. Go out there and kill him. Heck, we heard the coach yesterday. It was like, whenever y'all ready to block us, y'all come block us. That energy replicated today, especially from guys like Javon Dexter and Montez Sweat.
Yeah, and that's what you need. Like, you have an offense that has a lot of weapons, but it's still it's a young offense because you have a new coordinator, new terminology. You got a new quarterback. You got a new rookie receiver. You've got a new free agent wide receiver in Keenan Allen and Gerald Everett at tight end. You got, we saw Ryan Bates playing guard today.
Yeah,
no
Nate Davis today. No Nate Davis today.
Yes, there's still a lot of players that's returning on this offense, but there is a lot of change. A lot of players have been added this offseason. They're still trying to, understand this new offense that Shane Waldron's trying to implement. So there's going to be growing pains, right? The defense should be a step ahead of the offense because you have some new guys you brought in, but the main core of this defense is the same, right?
Yeah.
So schematically, the defense is the same. They may add a few wrinkles here and there, but guys are more confident in this defense because they've been in it already. Montez Sweat, he talked about it a few press conferences ago. He said, hey, I can go out there and play faster because when I came in halfway through the season last year, I'm still trying to find my footing. I'm still trying to learn the calls. Well, now he's had that. You know what I'm saying? He's had that. So it's you can clearly see that the defense right now is playing at a faster rate than what the offense is, just because the offense is still trying to overcome a learning curve. And not to mention, I'm not in those meetings, but I'm sure there's a ton of install being implemented in each and every meeting. So it's like, hey, coming in, new guys, new system, you got to continue to learn. So they'll continue to progress. But the main thing is like the offense, I think they have to understand, right? There's a lot of things that you can control. Right. It ain't just the scheme and stuff like that. You're going to make mistakes because you're still learning new things. But at the same time, you can't do things to hurt yourself. False start penalties, pre-snap penalties. Like, you got to clean that up. And I know you can see Coach Flus on the field getting agitated.
Oh, he was fuming.
I mean, the first team period, let's be honest, the first team period started with 2 false start penalties. Back to back. Like, those are things you can't have.
And I didn't see, because I wasn't looking specifically at Nate, I really was focusing in on Javon. Nate Davis didn't do one-on-ones today. Heard that from Herb Howard today. So he wasn't a part of the O-line going up against the D-line. I didn't see him out there during the team periods as well. I don't know if maybe he was in on that first session or not, but you would have to think that plays a part into it, because something that we haven't seen really since minicamp and OTAs, we got a chance to see Coleman Shelton starting center, Ryan Bates starting right guard, which is what some people as Bears fans have talked about is like, well, maybe that's the scenario we're going to get into this season. Second day in pads, you don't see Nate Davis out there. Any concern at all with that? I mean, like, he was fully dressed in pads, fully helmet, everything. He was dressed to go. and we just didn't see him practice.
Yeah, I don't know what the situation is there, but you look at it and you look at this offense line, right? And even look at last year, there was a carousel there, right? Guys were being moved around and stuff like that. So, I think it was, I don't know the situation with Nate Davis, but going back and looking at practice, you see Ryan Bates at right guard, you see
two false starts from him.
You see Coleman Michelle in the center.
Yeah.
Those are scenarios that could play out throughout the season. So it's good that those guys are getting those type of reps early, because we don't know how this offensive line is going to shape up. Health is always going to be a big factor. Guys are going to shuffle around, have to be shuffled around. So it's good for those guys to get in positions that they don't normally play early, so that way they can get a feel for it, because it may arise throughout the season.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I think what my big takeaway from today, we saw Caleb Williams throw 2 interceptions today. Offense just didn't have a good day.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, I don't know if he was frustrated at that point or what, but I mean, both intercept. Well, at least the one you had a different vantage point on the other one. The first one was forced.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So when quarterbacks throwing interceptions, right, and us being on the sideline and me not being in the huddle, and understand what was called, I can't sit there and say, like, especially the second one, I can't say that, oh, Caleb just threw a pick, right? Because I saw, DJ, he was going to DJ more, and from my vantage point, I don't know what route DJ was running, whether he was running a dig, or whatever, or some type of comeback route, or was Caleb late, or did he, DJ not finish the route? Like, those are all the things that are different scenarios that can attest to why the interception was thrown. So I can't just sit there and say, oh, Caleb was through an interception.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got to understand what the route concept was. Did DJ finish the route? Was Caleb late on the throw? There's a lot of things that go into it. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it still goes on the stat line.
It goes on the stat line as 2 picks. But it's one of those things where you would love to know what the reason is, because if it's for some reason DJ Moore didn't finish the route, how many times have we ever said DJ Moore didn't finish the route?
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? It's not something that I'm as worried about if we go into the season. If it's, I think the first one to me, Caleb forced it. I thought he stared down. I think it was Gerald Everett on that. And I mean, it was, the DBs were all over it. Great job by the defense making a pick.
Adrian Colbert
making another play.
He got Bajan yesterday, and he got Caleb today.
Yeah, making another play. But it has been the defense's day, but I think it needs to be noted, if Gervon Dexter is who he has shown over the first couple days of padded practices, the defense got better. Yeah. You got a player that you can count on in the middle. Now he needs to stack those plays. I think what we see, we'll see him get in the backfield phenomenally on the first play, and the next play, I kind of stand straight up, trying to get the hands up, and maybe he's not getting back there as quick. I think that's just building and taking time building that up. But if you add that legitimate 3 technique, it's like how you guys' defense looked with Henry Melton and without Henry Melton. There was a big void there. If Gervon Dexter can be that level of player, this defense, to me, in training camp, has taken that next step, and of course on the field will.
Yeah, it's just like I said before, when you have a defense that can get pressure with their front four, especially in the type of defense that we're playing here in Chicago, it just makes things easier, right? You can do a lot more things, right? Yeah. It's easier on the secondary, right? You don't have to, Coach Flus doesn't have to try to dial up, second level pressure from a linebacker or third level pressure, trying to bring a safety down to get pressure on the quarterback, so he's not just sitting there in the pocket with all kinds of
safety sacks over the last couple of years.
when the quarterback just sitting there with a lot of time, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you want to make a quarterback be uncomfortable. You want to make him be unsure in terms of the look that he's seeing from the defense. You want him to second guess the coverage. And, a lot of things another thing I'll go over too, a lot of those pre-snap penalties came about from our defense, giving a move call. So you hear TJ Edwards yelling, move, right before the ball is snapping. Yeah. What they're doing is, right, they're going to give you one look. When they say move, they're going to give you a whole different look. So the D-line shifts, right? So that changes the count for the offensive lineman. Okay, I had the 3 technique here. Now we move. Now he's a nose. So that changes my count. That changes who I have to block. So it's all about defense trying to create confusion to an offense, but that move call had the offensive line jumping, had guys jumping. So it's all strategy, man. A lot of people think football, this game is just played on from a physical standpoint. It's all mental. It's all chess.
I feel like we're seeing more of this than we saw last season. Again, right? We talked about multiple times, how this training camp seems more ramped up. It feels like we're seeing more of an emphasis on, we need to get our offensive linemen locked in. How difficult is that when you don't have your offensive linemen on the field, when you don't have the guys consistently in the same spot? And this isn't just a Nate Davis thing, right? Every other day, there's a new center
Yeah, it's
under
tough.
set or snapping the football.
Yeah, and we saw that. We saw some bad snaps. We saw a couple snaps that were on the ground. We saw a couple snaps of location in terms of when the quarterback was in the gun, the ball's here, and that really disrupts the timing of a play. So it's tough, man. It's hard, like, you know, for a guy playing center to go to guard. And I never played offensive line, but that would be like me playing fullback and then going to play cornerback. Like, it's different. You know what I'm saying? It's
Blasingame. Is that what you're saying?
Nah, I play linebacker, man. So it's a lot different. Like
I can see that too.
Like he talked about, you know, going from playing. You know, we talked to Khari in our podcast, which you guys will see. He talked about when he went to Vanderbilt, he was a safety.
Yeah.
And then he got there and he played linebacker.
Yeah.
And making the switch from linebacker to running back, and then getting into the league, you know, playing fullback. Like it's a complete different dynamic. Like the position requires different skill sets, different techniques, and fundamentals that you're trying to implement and trying to learn at a high level. So it's tough, man. It's the terminology, the calls is different. You know what I mean? Like it is tough. So, but it's good that, like I said, it's good that we're seeing, you know, guys on that offensive line being placed in different positions, because we don't know. I mean, I hope they all stay healthy for the entire season.
100%.
You know, I mean, I want them all. I want Tevin to be in there at guard for the entire season, because when
100%.
he is, he's one of the best in the game. But you never know what's going to happen. So if there's ways that you can get guys other reps to get them some type of experience early, it's a benefit to the offense and the team as a whole.
One of the units that has stood out to me defensively that has honestly been under talked about. I think we focus so much on the lines because of how last season went. Not enough pressure on the quarterback, not enough blocking for our quarterback. This linebacker unit looks like they're getting after it. We saw TJ Edwards flying into the backfield 2-3 times in a row, I think, when he was out there. I mean, like, really, if they could hit the quarterback, it probably would have been 2 sacks in a row. Yeah. So, like, what are you seeing from this linebacking core early with pads on, and do you feel like they're kind of setting their ways right now?
Yeah, so honestly, I'm seeing what I expect to see from TJ and Tremaine. Right, they're high caliber linebackers in this league in terms of their skill set and their playmaking ability. But at the same time, right, last year was their first year in the system.
Yeah.
So this year is their second year in the system. They're more comfortable. They understand the call. So now they can play free. They can fly around. And they excelled in the system last year. So I'm expecting those guys to take the next step. So what I'm seeing is what I would hope to see, you know, from a Bears fan standpoint and from a member of the media. Now I want to see those guys continue taking the next step in being the leaders of the defense, right? I want to see TJ being able to, if somebody's in the wrong gap on the defensive line, I want him to be able to say, hey, move over. And I want him to have those conversations with the secondary, making sure that everybody's on the same page. Because when I played here, you know, our quarterback of the defense, we had 2 of them, so I don't want to shade anybody, but it was Brian Urlacher and it was Mike Brown.
Yeah.
So Mike Brown used to tell the linebackers in the D line where to line up and they get on everybody in the secondary. You know, Brian Urlacher was the same way. He would help, you know, the D line get lined up. He'd tell Briggs move over if he was in the wrong gap. Like, those are the things that you want to see from a defense that's trying to be one of the top defense in the league and build upon where they left off. You got to have those type of leaders in that huddle and commanding a defense.
You heard that a little bit today as well. It's a great one, always peeking into the room. Are we gonna get a little feature?
We got a Joniak.
We got a feature here.
Joniak exciting.
We got
on the
a feature
podcast.
here. Hold on.
We're live on the podcast.
This is what are we doing? This is my favorite thing.
We're looking for you. Oh, we're talking. So we're talking TJ Edwards, and we're talking about, you know, we're talking about, you know, he asked me what TJ Edwards is flying around and what are my thoughts on it. And I said, well, I expect TJ and Tremaine to fly around, right, because it's their second year in the system, and we know their playmaking ability. But I love, from a leadership standpoint, them out there being able to get the D-line lined up, them having conversation with the secondary, making sure they're on the same page, like taking that leadership and that playmaking ability to the next level in terms of commanding and quarterbacking a defense.
Well, you know, you can feel the entire defense. So I think the communication front to back to front is right on. I mean, we talked about it on the sidelines. Those DBs, I know it's cliche, they're flying around.
Oh, yeah.
They're flying around. I mean, they are contesting everything. Coach Eberflus said it in the news conference today. You got to give them their props. I mean, they are on it.
Yeah.
And the linebackers too. I mean, there's young guys on this secondary. I think they're feeling it from the vets. I think that room is jacked up. We talked about it being the strength of the football team, right? Until further notice, they're just on it. They're getting coached really well. Matt Eberflus, you know, don't underestimate his impact too on that secondary, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Nick Saban was in the building. They talk coverages. I mean, they're on it. They're playing really well here a couple days into Pats. Sorry to crash your party.
No, you're all good.
I didn't even know you guys were in here.
You're all good.
I was looking for Joniak.
You came in at the perfect time.
People are looking for you.
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, you came in at the perfect time.
Okay, what else are we talking about?
Let's finish it. What do you got for Javon Dexter? What have you seen out of the big guy?
The big guy's going to rock it. I love his demeanor right now, his mentality. We had him on the podcast this week on Bears, Etc. Now you got a podcast. We got one too. Check it out wherever you get your podcast.
Cross promotion. I love it.
Yeah.
Bears.
When
are you ever going to get enough Bears?
There's never enough. But he's definitely more comfortable. You get through the early days of being a rookie, half a season, and then he kicked it in. He kicked it in. Montez Sweat being there. When you see both these 6'6" guys lined up next to each other, you start dreaming stuff up, right?
Oh my God.
I mean, forget about just the one-on-one. Somebody's getting a one-on-one. But then the twists, the stunts, what's going to create the avenues for a corner blitz, little guy sneaking behind the mountains.
We saw that a little bit from why can't I think of our
Know Your Personnel?
Yeah, KYP. That would be phenomenal.
Know Your Personnel.
That would be phenomenal right now.
We can't speak for you. Who are you talking about?
I know you're talking. There's a lot of guys on the roster right now.
Ready Stewart,
Kyler Gordon.
Kyler Gordon.
Sure.
Because I love a corner blitz. But anyway, hey, there's kinks to work out across the board. We're a week plus into camp. Lots to figure out. Plenty of time to do it. There's not a real game for a while, but we'll be on the air Thursday.
We'll be on the call.
Kickoff at 7:00. My man Joniak on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Bringing some knowledge. We're going to have Knowledge Drop City. We're going down memory lane as well.
Oh, yeah.
We're giving a little sneak peek right here. We don't know.
Yeah,
we haven't even talked about it. We're going to talk
Devin Hester will be on the sideline.
Devin
I'm
Hester
make sure I get Devin on there, too. I'm going to get him.
Get a J Pep. Why not?
We're going to get him on.
We'll get some people.
I love a Pep.
It'll be a riot. We'll have fun. You never know what'll
happen.
I'll be down there. Fame game.
I'll be down there. I'll be checking you guys out. I'll be in there.
Let me ask Jeff this. Let me ask you this.
Caravan heading to
the caravan.
We're going to be in Canton. Can's going to be all navy and orange. It's going to be Bears.
It's going to be dangerous, actually.
Let me ask Jeff this, right? So every year there's an under the radar guys we're not talking about in the media that finds their way on the 53-man roster. And I know we talked about this a little bit in practice today. You told me a couple guys that you like that may find their way in this roster. Who are you looking at? Like, who's a guy that could be a surprise guy?
Well, you go off enthusiasm, energy, juice, and how they're attacking things. The running back, Ian Wheeler from Howard University.
My guy.
There's something about him.
Yeah.
So, hey, listen, man, every year there's something about somebody.
Oh yeah.
But it's a long camp.
I was a big Taylor Gabriel guy. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
I love the Taylor Gabriel.
But Ian is a guy, he's coming about this the hard way, right? Undrafted, Howard University, has kick return ability as well, but he shows some speed. And like all the backs, they're finishing in the end zone. I love that. Just keep on DeAndre Swift, Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson, Ian, throw Blasingame in there.
We just had him on the podcast. So he's coming up right after this.
I love Blasingame. I always give him a wink on those. Hey, listen, Wheel Route City. I think he'd be quite capable of doing that.
Yes, please.
And then don't forget the cat we had from Seattle that is with Waldron there. Knows exactly what's going on with this offense.
Travis Homer.
I was getting there. Number 20, Travis is getting snaps. He's getting touches. So, and he's you ever see the size of his legs?
Oh yeah. I saw him run past yesterday, and I was like, "This is ridiculous."
I asked him last year. I go, "Man, where'd you get those things? Got to buy a pair?" I mean, just something else.
Tree trunks, man.
Yeah.
Tree trunks.
No, but and then any number of guys in the secondary, because I tell you, they know how to find DBs.
Yeah, they do.
They got a lot of DBs back there, and they're all fighting. I mean, guys that have been here and had playing time. It's going to be, like Ryan Poles said, it's going to be harder to make this roster than in other years. With that, my left knee's about ready to go.
I'm trying to get you to share.
We're out of here. Have fun.
You guys stay tuned in. Khari Blasingame coming up next. Bear Don will holler at you guys later.
Old.
Jeff Joniak in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, I'm about to come out there right now.
Hey. As always, man, y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Stay tapped in with us over on the Khari Blasingame interview. Joining us here on the Chicago Bears podcast, the Chicago Bears starting fullback, Khari Blasingame in the building. Y'all just got off the field. Ton of running. How you feeling right now? Second day in pads.
Yeah, man, feeling good. got them popping a little bit out there. Just getting to know everybody, getting our tempos down, like getting used to running and building our style of play. So it's cool, man. It's cool. Second day, got a lot of work to do though. A lot of work to do.
Yeah, Khari, let's talk about this offense. I seen a lot of different personnel groups. I see you out there a lot. Let's talk about your role in this offense. Do you see it increasing from last year? How do you see your role playing out throughout this season?
I mean, for me, it's just right now, the more I can learn, the more I can show that I can do, whether that's a fullback, inline tight end work, being in the backfield, split out in our different, formations, however we do it, even third down protection back, 2-minute, whatever. Like, I'm just trying to prove that I can learn the playbook and know it and go out there and play fast. So when it comes to like what I'm looking for my role to be, I mean, that'll all shake out, and I'm sure as the year goes on, you know how things change as the year goes. You have to step in and do things, and then, just whatever it looks like, you just gotta make sure you're ready. So that's really my main focus, man. I'm not really trying to anticipate, but always, you want your role to be bigger. You want to be able to prove that you can do certain things and make certain plays. But for sure, just looking to prove that I can do whatever they ask me to do.
When you look at camp this year versus last year, not to say that you guys weren't going after it, but it feels like this year there's an intensity in camp that is another level. Is that just because you guys are you got more guys on the defensive side coming back? Is it because you're trying to get this offense together so quickly? Do you feel like it's more intense this season, or do you feel like it's kind of similar?
I definitely feel like the intensity is picked up, and we definitely have tried to manufacture that.
Yeah.
And like you said, you mentioned about the defense, they got a lot of people coming back, and we're still trying to find our stride. You know what I'm saying? So we wanted to even be more.
Yeah.
Like we want even more intensity and even more speed and, even more focus and detail, But yeah, it's definitely picked up. The urgency is picked up, and we gotta keep going even more.
Y'all more willing to talk trash this year too, which I like a little bit. I was looking for it last year. I was like, come on, say a little something. But y'all, you feeling is that from confidence, or is that just from we sick of y'all talking at this point?
I just think it's the personality. Like, for example, our coach is gonna talk more trash. We're gonna say something to him, but his person, he's on him, so he's talking that trash. But I still feel like there's even more to be had of that. When we start hitting our groove and really settling in, I think that just comes with like you said, the confidence and the bravado and just knowing what you're doing, going out there playing fast and playing with some swag.
100%.
That was my next question, talking about Coach Morton here. And, I see every time a ball carrier gets the ball, they take it to the end zone. So I see that standard set in place. But I also see Coach Morton running down the sideline, running to the end zone with him. Talk about what it's like playing for him, the energy he brings, and how he holds you guys accountable in that running back room.
Yeah, that's a great word, is energy. Like, you got to have energy to play for Coach, and you got to have finish. And he set the standard from the beginning, from OTAs, and that's kind of just what we do now, just making sure that we finish every play and just try to, he always says, do right, just come out to practice and know what you have to do and do right and play hard. It's not going to always go your way, but just making sure you're going hard and you're trying to do right.
Do you feel like he made a drastic change to kind of what I don't know about the energy, but like kind of what the vibe around that running back room was when he came in? Do you think that it was a drastic shift from what y'all had last season?
I would say that our rooms have always been good. Like, we've always been locked in, but I definitely think like the energy and just the fact that it's a different room.
Yeah.
All together. You got Swift, Ian's there, but I mean, we still got, Miro and Homer and Khalil. So I think that, our the way we work is about the same, but just like you said, that energy is a little bit different, and that standard of finish is just, he's brought that, and he brings it every day. And like you said, you see him running right along with us.
It's my favorite thing. He's my favorite coach out there. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so it's no way to deny that. That's the standard, and that's what we have to do. So, and he definitely, he does it on the field, but off the field, he takes care of us, make sure that we're getting our treatment, during meetings, and stuff like that. So
this ain't just a Hard Knocks thing. This is just who he is.
Yeah,
100%.
He's been that since OTA. So, and that you can definitely respect that.
Yeah,
you can respect that.
Let's talk about this running back room. You guys brought in Swift. Obviously, Khalil's been there. Rashawn was a rookie last year in there. Homer was there last year too. And you mentioned Ian Wheeler. Like, talk about those guys. Like, is there a difference in terms of, you see a drastic difference between Swift's running style and Khalil's running style? And is there anything that you do differently in terms of blocking when either one of those guys are in the lineup with you?
Nah, so to answer the second question first, I don't really try to do anything different. I'm trying to be out in front fast and get on my block and just make it as clear for them as possible. So really it's just about speed because all of those guys play with speed. You know? We've seen it with Khalil, you know, Swift. I mean, you can see it just in the first few practices. He gets up and go. Homer's fast, like all of these guys, you know. So, and then that's the style of the offense too, like jumping out, getting on the defense, playing on their side of the line of scrimmage. So I really don't change what I do. But to answer your first question, like every guy has their own different personality. Like when you see Swift, he's shifty, he's fast, but he's also got power. And the same thing with like Khalil, like you know that when he gets in the open field, he's dangerous. Roshan, you've seen him being that guy that's gonna lower that boom, lower his shoulder and go finish runs. And Homer, you know, people don't sleep on Homer. Homer's miles per hour, man. He's up there, he's running. So we got a lot of playmakers, and even Ian, man. You see as he comes along, just these past few days, he's making explosive runs. Like just every day there's a run, and it's like, oh man, that's 4.3 in right there because he ran like a 4.3.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we got a lot of guys who can go. So you know, I'm just trying to do my job, and get out in front, make the blocks, and open it up so they can have some explosive runs.
Do you want to see more of a utilization from the running back room this year? Because I feel like last season there was a lot of like, okay, you get 4, you get 3 here, right? Splitting time between 3 different backs with Foreman, Roshan, and Khalil. You guys kind of had a situation here this season, but it seemed like that nobody was really able to get in a great rhythm last season until one of those guys wasn't in for some reason. Then it's like you getting the ball 15 times today.
You know, that's really above my pay grade. I'm gonna be honest because it's hard to do, especially when you have so many playmakers,
so many good players. Yeah.
Look at our receiver room. You know, you got DJ, you got Keenan, Tyler Scott. It's just so many dudes in that room. Rome.
Yeah.
And then in our room, like he mentioned all our playmakers. Like there's only one pill to go around. So, for me, I try to control the things I can control. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at that, you definitely want to get into a rhythm, run the ball, run the rock. But I think as you go throughout the year, go throughout camp, that's all gonna play itself out.
Is it more difficult to get that rhythm if you're not getting it as much, or is it kind of just like, well, we all gonna eat that 3-headed monster style, and that can work as well?
I feel like it's more the second. I feel like the first mindset, you know, being frustrated is like, not to be dismissive, but it doesn't really serve anybody.
It doesn't help anything.
It doesn't help anything, right? So if you just stay in that mindset, like, all right, well, when they call, I'm wired in,
right?
Yeah.
Then you have what you have last year, where you see Deontay comes in and versus Las Vegas
Raiders,
had a great game, and then next thing you know, Khalil's in and he's doing this thing, and Roshan's jumping in, like, so
even Darrington getting in there last year.
I remember at the Rams game he had a score, and even I think it was a couple other games, but so I just think that's the culture of our room, is that we're always going to be ready, we're always going to do right, and so whenever they give us the pill, you know, that's what we're gonna do. So shoot, even me, I try to stay ready from an age perspective. You know, you had Washington last year.
He had a bunch of carries in Washington, did his thing.
You've been cracking me up because I feel like people view you like as the fullback, is like just go out there and block, and then they hand you the ball and it's like, yo, he can really get after it though. Like he got some wheels on him.
It's still a lot of different. I mean, you saw yesterday. I saw you guys had a situational period. I think it was end of the half, and you were in there. And you caught 2 passes out of the backfield. So, like you said, it's the more you can do. And he does absolutely. And you do a great job blocking and coming out of the backfield. So I'm excited to see, you know, how your roles are going to expand this year. And my next question was going to be, and I know when I was here, the running back room, we were a close-knit group, and we did a lot of things outside of the building to help bond and build chemistry. Like, what are some of the things that you guys did in the offseason, or what do you guys do to help build that bond outside of the locker room?
Yeah, man, we went to dinner. Went to, you know, just going out, just kicking it. I think that's like you said, that's the biggest thing, you know, just getting together outside. And even with the defense, like we've been to some of the defensive players' house, kicking it, playing cards. You know?
I like it.
So, I mean, I think, and there's even more of that to be had out there, especially as you get through camp. You know what I'm saying? We're looking forward to it. You know, got the rookie dinner coming up with everything. And So
that's what I was gonna say. It's
Yeah.
Ian. So this last year you had Roshan.
yeah,
This year you have Ian. When I was here, we had Forte. So we took him to the cleaners. What is Ian? Is he paying for dinner this year? Like how's that?
we're gonna see, man. Me as an undrafted guy,
Yeah.
my guys. So I was in Minnesota. They took care of me.
Okay.
I went to Tennessee. I was taken care of. So we'll probably make them do something. We'll take care of them.
Were you taken care of?
Man, I had to call my parents and get a loan. I was undrafted too, so I was in Philly, and I had Deuce Staley in that room. I had Brian Mitchell, a lot of old just vets that were good guys, but they tried to take me to the clinics. I had to call my parents like, "Hey, I need you guys to send me some money. I ain't got it. I need a loan. I need a loan." They hit me like that, man.
In the preseason,
yeah, they don't care. So
at the second bottle of Ace of Spades, you was like, "Wait a minute, hold on."
I got my get back with Forte. He was a good sport about it.
They had no compassion.
No compassion. They didn't care, man.
You hate to see it.
Yeah.
You made it. Though.
Yeah, he made it. They was
though.
like, "You're gonna get paid eventually," so I had to pay. Pops wouldn't, he wanted that money back.
He wanted the money
back. So, ain't gonna forget about that.
Definitely got to give it back. Definitely got to give it back.
I'm gonna ask you something, J-Man, because it's very rare you get two fullbacks in the room that have both had as much success as you guys have both had in this league. What about his game do you see that reminds you of some of your game?
Man, I love, I get an opportunity to be on the sideline, and whenever they're warming up, I'm always in the back of the end zone. They're going through their warm up, and I'm a huge fan. Like, I mean, he's a guy that's very athletic.
Appreciate that.
Nah, for sure, you're my guy, man. Very athletic, can make any block that you need. Can come out of the backfield, has great hands. He's faster than me. He's got good speed. But like the things that I think, I've seen him split out wide and catch passes as well. So he's got a complete game. Even last year, I'm just like, man, I want them to get my guy the ball some more, give him more opportunities. So
your name was mentioned a lot on the postgame show.
Yeah,
a lot on the postgame show.
I'm always gonna look for the fullback. That's my guy right here, man.
Fullback love is always in full effect.
We got to stick together.
On the Chicago Bears podcast.
Stick together. But now I'm excited to see his role expand because I just feel like there's a lot of things that he can do. Even at Vanderbilt, you came in as a linebacker, right?
Actually a safety.
A safety.
I'm sorry.
Recruited as a safety, but my first year playing, when I wasn't redshirt, I played at linebacker.
Because you played 7 games at linebacker, am I right? At Vanderbilt, started 7 games.
Yes, I don't know if I started them, but I played in 7 games as a linebacker,
and then made the transition to running back.
Yeah,
because in high school you played safety and running back, right? See,
that's very how was that transition from being on the defensive side to all of a sudden it's just like, but you want me to go score the touchdowns? Oh, I bet. Here we go.
Because I played running back was my favorite position growing up.
Yeah.
So from start to finish, I've always loved watching the running backs. I know I shouldn't say Barry, but I grew up watching Barry.
I mean, listen, nobody's disrespecting Barry out here. You know what I mean?
I wore number 20 in middle school. But I running back was it. And then, played defensive back and I realized, okay, I'm good at defensive back, but I still played running back throughout high school.
Okay.
So when it was time to switch over, it was more of an opportunity thing. I was playing linebacker and we had 3 really good linebackers. We had Zach Cunningham, Orrin Burks, and Nigel Bowden that were in our linebacker room. And so I knew okay, my red shirt year, I'm gonna play here and there and be ready, but I played a lot of special teams.
Right.
And so when they were hey, we got depth problems at running back, we know you can play running back, this and that. It was just an opportunity to get on the field. And so I just wanted to be on the field and I knew I could do it. And then that first game versus South Carolina, I think I had 70-something yards, split some time with Ralph, who was the starting running back. So it really, at the time it was dang, I really wish I could, settle into a position and play a position. But it was opportunity, man, and I just wanted to get on the field and play.
I love it.
And so
you still get to hit people.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
It was cool. When you got the ball in your hands, you can definitely be physical. You can, make the big run. I mean, you have the ball in your hands. Right? That's
they trying to hit you, so you might as well hit them.
And so it's fun. That's what I grew up playing as running back. So it was never an issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't a tough transition for you.
I mean, there's certain times where I was like I said, you want to get into your groove, learn the position, and get settled in, and have some time to play year over year. But
how's that been in this offense here? There's been, I'm sure there's some changes. It's not a completely different offense, but Shane Waldron coming in. Do you feel like there's just more that you guys can get that you left a little meat on the bone with last season with this offense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it just because Shane is just a great teacher, right? So the way he's installing Like I'm able to learn and conceptualize everything, and just like go out there and play fast, like I mentioned earlier. So I think the pieces that we have, I think the continuity that we have, like I mean, it's a lot of new pieces on offense.
For sure.
But if you look in our room, right, like still got Simo, you know, with the O-line and a lot more pieces there. So I think the sky's the limit, especially when you talk about running the ball and getting playmakers the ball out of the backfield. Like I think it's all out there to be had.
Now I've heard a lot of different guys evaluate Caleb Williams and what he's done and their view of him and the type of potential he has. What is your evaluation of him throughout this offseason? I know you haven't been with him that much throughout minicamp and the start of training camp. Like, what's your evaluation and assessment of him?
Well, first, he's a great teammate. You know, I enjoy, you know, being with him out there on the field, being with him in the locker room, good teammate. And so that's the first thing. Second thing, like when you just watch him just drop back there, he seems real cool in the pocket. Like I've seen him make throws that are like, man, that's a crazy throw, like rolling out across the body. You know, from an evaluation standpoint, I don't know how much I could give you like a sky's limit or.
Are you telling me you're not a quarterback guru? You know?
So I'll be honest with you on that. But just watching it, it's like, oh, he's a dog. You know he's gonna be a dog. So he's just gonna be fun to watch, man. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for our offense. But I think he's gonna make a lot of plays.
What do you think is gonna be the thing that you guys need to get to click? Because we still see right today some false start penalties on the O-line, different things like that. What is the thing that you guys are looking to say? Once we get that right, we're gonna be set and we can kind of start building the foundation up from here.
It's just that cohesion. It's that cohesion of, like, you know, when you go up, you know, everything from the, you know, the play being called to the cadence to how you break the huddle, just everything being right. Then once that happens, and you know we're running the ball, and I think we just got to get that cohesion. And I mean, it's a work in progress. And I mean, every team in the league right now is saying the same thing. But I just think for us, like once we get that chemistry, and you know, we know exactly what we're doing, when we're doing it, and how we're doing it. I think it's gonna be special. I think it's gonna be fun to play.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be fun to play when that happens.
Is it more difficult for y'all to get it because of how good this defense is? Is that like kind of slowing things up a little bit? Because I don't see them as the type of defense that's like, I give them a couple of plays, let them try and figure this out.
No. Everybody's competing, and they're doing a great job on the D line, like with the snap count.
Oh, yeah.
You know, kind of forcing some of those errors, but like we said, it's competition, and by them doing that, they're making us better.
Yeah.
And once we get over that hump, like I think it's gonna be really fun to play and really fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
I got one last question. So year 6 for you, right? Training camp number 6. How has, and I know it's changed, but tell the viewers like how much has changed in terms of your game from like your first training camp to where you're at now.
Man, it's changed so much. So when I came in, so you know, I came from running back. I was like 230 something, 235, and just learning the fullback position. I mean, you know, is one just going from college to the league is different, but then learning a whole different position. And so like just physically like growing into myself, like, yeah, you know, I'm still gonna take a couple lumps here and there, but like I'm way more confident in my physical ability, and then mentally, like having a process, knowing how to study, like knowing what's coming in a practice, knowing what's coming in a week of practice. Like if I could go back and tell myself like, hey, just chill out, you'll be all right. Like my first camp, because like I said, I was undrafted. I mean, I was anxious every day. I'm like, man, I gotta make a play. I gotta make all my blocks. I gotta do this. I gotta be perfect, or else they're gonna come get me. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's just different. I just feel a lot more settled in. Just a lot more confident that like wherever I am today, like I know at the end of camp, I'm gonna be a lot better. Like just constantly every day, just trying to get better. And I think if you know that growth mindset is important to just realizing like you just take it day by day, and then once the season here, you rolling. And it's a process. So like just understanding that the process is the process, and you know just you got to go through it. You got to do the work. And so I hope I answered your question.
No, you did, man. 100%. No, you did.
I asked J-Mac this earlier. When did they coming to get me go away? When did that feeling finally go away?
It's still not. It still don't. It don't go away. It don't go away. I still got it.
Yeah.
I'm still like, yo, I every day I got to prove that, I can like dominate my matchups and make plays. And every day I got to prove that, because that's the type of league this is.
Absolutely.
So I'm still running.
Hey, man.
I'm still running.
Keep running for us, man. We need you out there.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Yes,
appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us, man. What's your expectation for the season?
Man, get better every day. Get better every day. Go out, win a lot of football games.
That's what I like to hear.
Just like grow as a team and have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
And win a lot of games.
That's the part to remember. Have a lot of fun doing it and win a lot of games. It's easier to have fun doing it
Easier
when
to
you're
have
winning a
fun
lot of
winning.
games.
Easier to have fun when you're winning. Facts.
Khari, appreciate you coming on to the podcast, man. Appreciate you taking the time out.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you.
No doubt.
Khari Blasingame. Make sure you guys tune in, check him out. I got my popcorn ready. Biggest fan, so we'll stay tuned and see how he progresses throughout the season.
Appreciate you coming on, man.
Man, good to see you.
That
Man.
was awesome.
Always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure, bro.